Well, hey, folks, Vallow Daybell is back in court, and this time the outburst wasn't about murder charges. It was about money. From behind bars at the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center in Idaho, Daybell was ordered to pay nearly $12,000 in restitution to Kay Woodcock. Now, what should have been a simple hearing quickly turned bizarre when the judge asked Daybell if she was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. She snapped back. She asked, "Is Your Honor aware that I'm in prison, that I have no access to any of those things?" Well, her tone, her laughter, and her sarcasm told us everything about where she is mentally at this time. She's trapped in a shrinking world where the system is now dictating every move she makes. So let's take a look at what really happened inside that courtroom today. The psychology behind Vallow Daybell's defiance, and how narcissists like her react when their control finally collapses. I mean, was this about $12,000 in restitution? What did this woman's laughter and sarcasm reveal about her loss of control and what her growing financial weight is, now exceeding more than $500,000 in restitution? Well, hey folks, welcome to Profiling Evil, and if you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button and ring that bell so that you never miss any of our videos. Now today I want to talk about a moment that to me is as revealing as it is absurd. Vallow Daybell's latest courtroom appearance. And boy, she never lets us down, does she? This time though, she was ordered to pay nearly $12,000 in restitution to Kay Woodcock. You know her, the grandmother of JJ and Ty Lee. And in true Vallow Daybell fashion, she just couldn't help herself. Between her sarcastic laughter, her jabs at the court, and her frustration over what she calls more than $500,000 in fines and fees, so who cares? Well, we saw a woman who's not losing control alone. She's losing control legally and psychologically. So let's start with that clip to set the tone from this hearing.
Although I'm aware that counseling costs can be included in restitution, this document turned over by the state is an Excel spreadsheet totaling $3,147 in counseling. There are no invoices from doctors or insurance companies to my knowledge, so the document in and of itself seems to be insufficient. I haven't actually seen it. However, based on how my trials were conducted, since experience tells me that regardless of what I say or what anybody else says, you're going to order it, I am willing to stipulate today. It is my understanding that I have already been ordered by this court to pay over $534,000 in fees, in fines, surcharges, and court fees. So you can add Ms. Woodcock's total of $12,096.97 of restitution to my tab.
All right. Ms. Daybell, you're stipulating to pay restitution to Kay Woodcock in the amount of $11,747.99. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to make this decision?
Have I been on any drugs, Your Honor? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking, have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand or make this decision today?
Is Your Honor aware that I am in prison? I have no access to any of those things. So no, the answer is no, I have not.
Thank you for answering the question.
Did you catch the judge asking her, hey, have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to make a decision of agreeing to the restitution? Well, Lori's response again was so harsh. Is Your Honor aware that I'm in prison, that I have no access to any of those things? So no, I haven't. Well, that line, "Is Your Honor aware that I'm in prison?" It wasn't just sarcasm, it was resentment. It was the sound of a once dominant personality who's realizing that her world is now dictated by court schedules, by restitution totals, and by inmate accounts. Others are controlling her life now. Now, Judge Justin Bareski ordered Daybell to pay an additional $11,747.99 to Kay Woodcock for travel, lodging, counseling, other related expenses tied to Charles Vallow's murder. The number is going to likely climb as Woodcock's counseling is ongoing. But when the prosecutor, Trina Kay, explained the math to Daybell and the judge asked Lori if she agreed to the numbers, she again snidely responded, "Well, experience tells me that regardless of what I say, you're going to order it. So I stipulate." Well, this was passive aggressive compliance at its best. It's a hallmark of control freaks when the system finally holds them accountable. Because when the judge asked whether anyone had coerced her in any way, she quipped, "Only my trials. Only Your Honor. You coerced me." And even behind bars, we see that she's still performing. She's still clinging to the narrative that she's the persecuted one, the misunderstood one. And that leaves me wondering what's going on in Lori Daybell's head right now. Her world is shrinking around her. Every ruling is cutting her territory down even smaller. She's no longer the doomsday mom leading this self-styled mission. She's an inmate with a correctional number. She's living on schedules. She has to go to commissary. She has to abide by these restitution orders. And that laughter she has, it's a mask that's cracking, in my opinion. This loss of control, Lori's entire identity was built on her dominance, her controlling beliefs, by having people follow her, even being able to control life and death. And in that hearing, the system told her exactly what she's going to do, and she had no power to change it. And that's when the sarcasm and the smirks started coming out, because in reality, it's the only tools that she has left. She's going to continue to frame the court as being unfair, citing things like the fact that she has $500,000 already ordered in restitution against her. So this latest 12K, it wasn't symbolic of money. It was symbolic of accountability, because each restitution order is chipping away at her self-delusion that she's somehow divinely justified. And for Lori Daybell, I believe her anger is her armor. Every defiant grin hides a very different emotion, an emotion, in my opinion, of fear. She's afraid of what total powerlessness feels like. And that's why she's fighting even these small battles in hearings, because in the grand scheme, they really mean nothing. But this is how narcissists convince themselves that they're still in control. This hearing might have seemed minor to you compared to her life sentence, but it is entirely revealing. Because in big cases, murder conspiracies, cult beliefs, Lori Daybell controlled the tempo. But in this small courtroom over restitution, her mask slipped. It's here that we see the real person, the manipulative, narcissistic offender watching her empire of delusion collapsing into fines, forms, and frustrations. The court ordered her that the restitution would be deducted at the maximum allowable rate from her prison account. That means she'll pay, whether she likes it or not. And that reality cuts deeper than any cross-examination.
This is the time set for restitution hearing. Have there been any agreements?
Your Honor, I am not sure. I was going to check with Ms. Daybell if she would stipulate to anything. I do have one correction in the documents on bait stamp 101133. What we've learned is that the gas receipts that were provided are not all of the gas receipts, and so That's why we had done the mileage, but we forgot to remove the gas receipts themselves. So we should actually remove $348.98, which would make the total restitution request $8,600.54.
Okay, I'll ask the defendant, are you stipulating to any restitution?
Your Honor, on Wednesday night, I did receive those Bates numbers that were supposed to be given to me from my advisory council. They mailed them to me. I just got them. I was able to review those. Those ended at Bates number 101161. And yesterday I was informed by my advisory council that the state sent over one more document on Tuesday by email to my advisory council. And I have not seen that document. It's Bates number 101162. It is my understanding, since I talked to my advisory council yesterday, that that document is a document. They kind of explained what it was to me. And so my understanding is, and although I'm aware that counseling, thank you. Although I'm aware that counseling costs can be included in restitution, this document turned over by the state is an Excel spreadsheet totaling $3,147 in counseling. There are no invoices from doctors or insurance companies to my knowledge. So the document in and of itself seems to be insufficient. I haven't actually seen it. However, based on how my trials were conducted, since experience tells me that regardless of what I say or what anybody else says, you're going to order it, I am willing to stipulate today. It is my understanding that I have already been ordered by this court to pay over $534,000 in fees, in fines, surcharges, and court fees. So you can add Ms. Woodcock's total of $12,096.97 of restitution to my tab.
And Your Honor, with that correction, it would actually be $11,747.99.
Hold on, 11,740.
$7.99.
All right. Ms. Daybell, you're stipulating to pay restitution to Kay Woodcock in the amount of $11,747.99. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to make this decision?
Have I been on any drugs, Your Honor? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking, have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand or make this decision today?
Is Your Honor aware that I am in prison? I have no access to any of those things. So no, the answer is no, I have not.
Thank you for answering the question. Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your agreement to pay this restitution?
No,
Has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you to get you to agree to pay this restitution?
only my trials, Your Honor, coerced me.
All right. The court finds that your agreement is knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. It's ordered that you pay $11,747.99 in restitution to Kay Woodcock. The restitution would take priority over any other fines and fees that have been imposed. And it's ordered that that restitution be paid out at the maximum rate allowable out of any prison account. Ms. Kay, do you anticipate any other restitution requests?
Your Honor, we are still awaiting restitution request from Brandon Boudreau. I know that he's been busy with work and he hasn't got all of those documents together. When I get those, I will submit them to advisory council and to Ms. Daybell's investigator, who seems to be able to get that to her much easier. And just for the record, Ms. Woodcock is still ongoing counseling, so there could be subsequent requests.
Well, the court retains jurisdiction over the matter of restitution for the period that the defendant is serving a sentence.
So for me, today's hearing left a few important takeaways that I want to leave with you. Number one, that the cracks are widening, and the mockery and the laughter is a signal of the loss of control she's experiencing. These small hearings reveal big truths where Lori Daybell's ego is meeting bureaucracy. And in this case, restitution is equaling accountability. And no matter how cosmic her excuses once sounded, reality is closing in. And I'd really like your thoughts, because in my opinion, this is what makes this hearing worth studying. It's not because of $12,000 in restitution. It's because of the psychology behind every word that Lori Daybell spoke today. So thanks for joining us here at Profiling Evil. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and share this episode with any of your friends who are following the Daybell saga. I'm waiting for Chad's letter number 8 to come out. Hey, watch for Profiling Evil on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you like audio podcasts and you like getting your true crime on the go, check out Profiling Evil's audio podcasts on your favorite podcast platform. And I'm really excited to announce that Profiling Evil is teaming up with Gamut Podcasting to release the new Gardens of Evil podcast. It lands mid-November, so just a few weeks. Check out the link below to subscribe, because you don't want to miss this podcast. The production quality is incredible. And I got a short trailer that I want to share with you as proof of this. It's coming up, and it's only a couple of minutes long, so please stick around and listen to the trailer on Profiling Evil's Gardens of Evil. I think you're going to really like this one.
In a quiet little neighborhood called Northwood lived a man named Arvin Shreve. Northwood was immaculate.
Such perfection that it's hard to even describe.
These homes look like they had their grass clipped with scissors.
And Arvin, a retired award-winning landscaper, was its caretaker. For many residents of Northwood, the warm and charismatic Arvin was a father figure.
I didn't have a dad, and here's this older man, and he would tell me, you can be part of our family, and we want to be part of yours.
But beneath the lush foliage and smiling faces, a great evil had taken root.
The horror that happened inside those homes with such a pretty facade, it just didn't make sense. Such ugliness covered by such beauty.
In July 1991, a young woman walked into a police station and introduced herself to Detective Mike King.
Then, very matter-of-factly, almost as if she was commenting on the weather, she said, "I've been involved with a cult that is sexually abusing children."
We're talking about multiple families and many children.
Not everything in Northwood was as it appeared.
When you hear about a cult stockpiling guns, you think about some of these places where that's turned into violence.
And the gentle, unassuming Arvin was the devil in disguise.
He's proclaiming to be a prophet.
Arvin's message was, if you do all these things for me sexually, then I have the key to get you into heaven.
And I said, we have got to get out of here.
That's easier said than done. I'm Mike King, and I led the investigation into the Zion Society cult to rescue a group of children from the clutches of this destructive sect.
My mom took me to this house. They physically restrained me, and then I never lived with her again.
We were raised that this was right. We believed this was right, didn't know that it was wrong.
On Cult Files, Gardens of Evil, you'll learn how Mike King built a criminal case against and eventually brought down the Zion Society. You'll also hear from many of the survivors of this tragedy as they tell their story in their own words.
If you gained 3 pounds, then you were damned to hell and you were going to get into heaven.
Every hour, it was our whole life, some form of abuse, emotional, physical, or sexual. Like, I can't think of any time that was just joy.
These brave women continue to share their experiences in order to help and hopefully empower other people.
Keep moving forward. You didn't know any better.
I have to remind myself every day that I need to forgive for me, not for them, but so that I don't destroy my body in hate, I have to let go.
I've dedicated my professional life to protecting children and believe that difficult stories like this have to be told. Gardens of Evil exposes many of the methods used by predatory cult leaders, and my hope is that something like this will never happen again.
Cult Files, Gardens of Evil, a 7-episode series coming this fall. wherever you get podcasts.
And folks, thanks so much for your support. We'll see you soon at the next crime scene.